ஆழ்வார் எம்பெருமானார் ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஜீயர் திருவடிகளே சரணம். ஸ்ரீ பகவத்கீதா 13th chapter, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yogam. That is the title for this chapter. In this chapter, Bhagavan explains to Arjuna about Kshetram, that is matter, Achit, and Kshetrajna, the Atma who is present inside Achit, present inside the matter, that is body. In the beginning of this chapter itself, Bhagavan declared that he is going to talk about these two topics mainly. In the first few slokams, he explained about Kshetrajna, and then he first explained about Jivatma, that is Kshetrajna, and then he explained in the 5th and 6th slokam about Kshetram, that is Achit, how it is present. Now from the 7th slokam onwards, he is going to explain the qualities which are explained, which are required for an Atma who is inclined towards acquiring Atma Jnanam, knowledge about the self. From the 12th slokam, he will explain in detail about Atma, Kshetrajna. But before that, he explains what are the qualities which are expected to be present in those who seek enlightenment about the self, about Bhagavan, both. We are going to see these slokams today. Bhagavad Ramanuja has given beautiful commentary in the name of Gita Bhashyam for Sri Bhagavad Gita. Vedanta Acharya has given Tatparya Chandrika, which is an elaborate commentary for Bhagavad Gita. Both of these are in Sanskritam. Puttur Sri U.A. Krishnaswamy Iyengar has given elaborate Tamil commentary based on these two existing Sanskrita commentaries. We have translated that into English. The word by word meanings given by Puttur Swami has been translated into English by us. It is available in our website gita.coil.org. With the help of this simple explanation, we are going through simple meanings for Gita Shlokams. We will start with the 7th Shlokam. Amanitvam, Adhambitvam, Ahimsa, Kshantir, Arjavam, Acharyopasanam, Shaucham, Stairyam, Atma Vinigraha. Bhagavan is explaining, highlighting 20 qualities which are essential for each one of us who are interested in becoming realized about the self, about Bhagavan. So he starts off with Amanitvam. So Amanitvam is not disrespecting elders. Elders here, Sri Vaishnavas, Jnanis. We have to give respect to elders. Not only that, we should also avoid disrespecting them. It is very important to acknowledge the elders and to be obedient towards them. So this mana means pride to some extent, and being without pride, only in that situation we will avoid disrespecting elders. When we have pride, sometimes we will be disrespecting elders due to that pride. So when we give up that pride, we will be able to avoid disrespecting the elders. So that is the first quality which is identified by Bhagavan as an essential quality. Next, Adhambitvam. Dambam generally means fame or just doing for a show. Adhambitvam means not engaging in any charity for the sake of attaining fame, for a show. Because most often people will do very noble things when they are in public, and when we are in private, we all sometimes behave in a less than optimal way. That quality should be avoided. We should be free from seeking fame or pride or doing things for show. So that quality is very much essential. Adambitvam is very much essential, as highlighted by Bhagavan here. Next, ahimsa. Ahimsa means not harming anyone with the three faculties. It is mind, speech and actions. Himsa means torture or harm. We think that generally himsa is only physical, but it can also be at a verbal level and at a mental level. So as per Shastram, himsa is in all these three levels: mind, speech and body. So in all these three levels, we must not harm others. That is very important. Fourth quality is kshantihi. Kshantihi means not being mentally affected or disturbed even when others cause harm or hurt. When others harm us, even in that situation, we should remain peaceful and not be disturbed. If one is remaining in a place where there is no disturbance and one remains peaceful there, it is not a wonder. But what is expected out of those who seek enlightenment is, even when there is reason for disturbance, even when someone is hurting us, we should not become disturbed. Only then we can attain that enlightenment. That is Shanti. Then Arjavam. Arjavam means having all the three faculties in harmony towards others. The same three faculties we saw: mind, speech and body, mind, speech and actions. They should all be in sync. For example, we see somebody, we think in our mind, oh, this person again, why am I meeting this person? But we cannot say that out. We say, oh, I am happy to see you, and then we shake hands or we embrace that person or so on. Then there is no arjavam, there is no honesty. Arjavam means honesty. Honesty in the sense that our mind, our speech and our body, all three should be in line, in harmony. Only then we are said to be in arjavam, in harmony. So this is very important for those who seek enlightenment. And then Acharya Upasanam, serving the Acharya, the teacher who teaches about Atma, the one who is guiding us, the one who is helping us in giving knowledge. That Acharya must be served. So Acharya Upasanam, Bhagavan explains this in the 4th chapter itself. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshanaha. Go to a learned Acharya, serve him, humbly request him, humbly question him the right questions at the right times, and acquire knowledge through this process. So this Acharya Upasanam is very, very important for enlightenment. When Atma needs to progress, one needs to inquire from the Acharyas, get guidance and act according to that, and also serve that Acharya in whatever capacity one is able to. Generally it is said that one should submit everything to Acharya. His wealth, his body, everything should be given for the sake of Acharya's Kaikaryam. But at least we should do Kinchitkaram, little bit of service to Acharya. That is Acharya Upasanam. Then Shaucham. Shaucham is purity of the three faculties. That is mind, body and speech. All three should be clean. And this cleanliness is going to help us in knowing about self and pursuing the processes which are to be pursued for enlightenment. For example, Shastram says one should take bath every day. One should do Sandhya Vandanam. One should do Tiruvaradhanam. So whatever activities one must do with a clean mind, body and speech. So all three must be clean. It is not that we can say, oh, I have a pure mind, so I can do anything even without taking bath. That is not given by Shastram. Shastram says we have to follow certain process. Only then Sattva Gunam will develop. So we have to process, we have to observe what is present in Shastram and follow that. And that is related to the next quality also, Stairyam, being firm in the principles explained by Shastram. We should have firm faith in Shastram. Whatever Shastram says, that is for our good. We have to have that firm belief, firm faith. Even whatever we are saying now, Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, even these which are explained by Krishna, even these are highlighted in Shastram. That is why Krishna is also saying these things, based on Shastram only. So all of these are coming from Shastram, so we must have full faith in Shastram and follow it as well. It is not that we say we have faith, but we won't follow. Whatever we have faith, we must try to follow as much as possible. That is Stairyam. And then Atma Vinigraha, controlling the mind. Atma here indicates mind. Sometimes Atma will indicate mind, sometimes Atma will indicate prana, sometimes Atma will even indicate body. Depending on the context, it has different meanings. So here Atma Vinigraha means controlling the mind, which is the primary sense controlling all the other karmendriyams and jnanendriyams. Sense organs of action and organs of knowledge. There are 10 of them, and mind is the leader for all 10 of them. Mind is the 11th sense, and it controls all the other 10 senses. So that mind should be controlled. Even we may have control over the physical senses, but if we don't have control over the mind, then eventually we will lose out. So control over mind is very, very important. Then eighth shlokam, Indriyarteshu Vairagyam Ahankara Evacha Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. So in this shlokam he is identifying a few qualities. Indriyarteshu Vairagyam, detachment towards sense objects such as Shabdam, Sparsham, Rupa, Rasa, Gandham, all of them, etc. Here, all of them, which are perceived through the sense organs. The sense objects are perceived through sense organs. We should have detachment towards the sense objects. For example, eyes help us see beautiful things. Now we should not have attachment towards those beautiful material things. Now we cannot say that anything beautiful we cannot see. Bhagavan is also beautiful. We can see Bhagavan. We can enjoy Bhagavan's form. We can hear Bhagavan's glories. We can speak about Bhagavan's glories. Those are all natural for the Atma. But anything material, we should not be engaged in that. Ahankaraha evacha, not considering Deham as Atma. Deham is body, Atma is self. This confusing the body to be self is called Ahankara. Anatmani Atma Buddhihi is known as Ahankaram. So this Ahankaram should not be present in one who is seeking enlightenment. So when one thinks only in the bodily platform and thinks that the Atma and body are the same, then that will not help in the progress spiritually. Next quality is Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. One must constantly observe and meditate upon the inferior nature and the defects of birth, death, old age, disease and suffering. Janma, birth, Mrityu is death. In between birth and death we get old age, we get disease, and then we get suffering, diseases and all of that. So we should observe that these are part of this material world, samsara, and we must physically observe these and desire to be free from all of these. Only when we have this desire, we will have enlightenment of the self. So this suffering should be observed constantly and should be related to the body, and see that we don't want to come back to this birth again. So that is explained in the 8th shlokam. Next, 9th shlokam. Asaktir anabhishvangaha putra dhara grihadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopapatishu. in this slokam a few qualities are highlighted by Bhagavan. Asaktihi, not having attachment in matters other than soul. One should have attachment to anything related to Atma. That is, Atma related matters means Bhagavan, Bhagavatas, all of these are Atma related. Anything other than this, one should have detachment. Putra, Dara, Grihadishu, towards wife, children, house, etc. Anadishvangaha, being free from attachment. So, wife, children, house, land, wealth, our money, all the friends, relatives, everything comes from bodily platform. When we have attachment towards body, we will naturally develop attachment towards all of these. So it is emphasized by Krishna that we should not have any attachment towards any of the bodily aspects. When we have bodily aspects attachments, then we will not have attachment towards Bhagavan and Atma, because they are contrary to each other. When we like body, we will not be able to focus on Atma. So it is natural that one should have detachment towards all the bodily related aspects here, which are explained here by Bhagavan. Ishtanishta upapattishu, when attaining desirable or undesirable objects, nityam, always, samachittatvam cha, being free from elation or dejection. So when we get whatever we like, we should not be overly elated. And when we get what we don't like, we should not be overly dejected. So these two aspects are very, very important. This should be always. It is not that sometimes we maintain this neutral state and other times we don't maintain this neutral state. It should be always. That is why Nityam is mentioned there. So when whatever we get, whether it is desirable or undesirable, in Bhagavad Vishayam, if we get desirable aspects, then it is Bhagavan's kripa. If we get undesirable objects also, it is our own karma. Similarly, in material aspects, if we get desirable objects, it is based on our karma. Undesirable objects is also based on our karma. So in all of those cases, we should remain neutral and we should not be overly elated or dejected. That is 9th shlokam. And then 10th shlokam. Maichananya yogena bhaktir avyabhacharini vivikta desha sevitvam arathir jana samsadhi. In this shlokam, Bhagavan highlights the important aspect of showing devotion towards Bhagavan. Mai, in me, who is Sarveshwara, Ananya Yogena, due to not engaging with anyone else. Avyabhicharini, very firm state. Bhaktihi cha, devotion. So here, devotion which is free from no other distraction, no other engagement with anyone else. Such bhakti is emphasized by Bhagavan. We can understand between a man and woman, husband and wife, Vyapachara means desiring for outside the marriage. When husband is attached to the wife and one wife is attached to husband, it is proper. When it is otherwise, it is not proper. Similarly, Bhagavan and Atma should only be attached to Bhagavan, no one else. So such state is emphasized here, such state of devotion is emphasized here for attaining enlightenment by Bhagavan. Vivikta desha sevitvam, living in seclusion. This is a little bit difficult for us to understand, because living in seclusion, not everyone can go to a forest or a very secluded place. We will remain in the situation we are. But we should try to avoid unfavorable association. Whoever is not good for our progress, spiritual progress, whoever we will be influenced with, it is okay if we can interact with others, if we can influence them, we can guide them, we can show them the path, then it is okay. But if we are not able to guide them, if we will be also become trapped, then it is better to avoid such unfavorable association. In such cases, we should be living in seclusion, we should be living in isolation. Now we can understand we are not going out of our home due to the situation. So it is possible for everyone. We think that some of these are not possible, but really it is possible. Now we are not going out, we are just enjoying Bhagavad Vishayam as much as possible from home within the given conditions. So it is always possible. So living in seclusion is an important aspect. And then Jana Samsadi Aratihi, not liking to be in a crowd. That is also a very important aspect. Now crowd here is not about the Bhagavata crowd, the Bhagavata Goshti. This crowd is Samsara Goshti. When we are having attachment towards Bhagavata Goshti, it is good for the Atma. Anyway, it is taking us in the progress towards spiritual enlightenment. But when it is a Goshti of Bhagavatas, then it is not going to help. So that liking should not be there. That is 10th shlokam. And finally in the 11th shlokam, Bhagavan is concluding a couple of other qualities and giving his conclusion. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam yetad jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yad athonyatha. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam, always engaging in the pursuit of knowledge about Atma. Adhyatma jnanam means knowledge about self, knowledge about Atma, these deep principles. Nityatvam, always engaging in it, always engaging in the pursuit of acquiring this knowledge. That is an important quality. We must be curious, we must be interested in knowing more and more about Atma and Bhagavan. And Tattvajnanartha Darshanam Chintanam, meditation to acquire true knowledge. This meditation, this dhyanam about Tattvajnanam, we should think about Bhagavan's qualities, Bhagavan's Leela, Bhagavan's forms, Alvar Acharya's words, divine words, their activities, all of these. When we engage our mind, when we meditate upon all of these, naturally we will acquire true knowledge. So this chintanam, this meditation is very, very important. Saying this, Bhagavan is concluding now, Etat, these 20 qualities seen from the 7th shlokam up to here, jnanam iti proktam, are said to be the means to attain Atmajnanam. These are the qualities which are important to attain Atmajnanam. Yat ataha anyatha, everything other than these, ajnanam, is a hurdle in acquiring knowledge about self. So whatever other aspects which are not covered in this, so any good noble thoughts, noble aspects, they will be present among these 20 qualities identified by Bhagavan. And whatever is left out from these 20, we can be certain that they are not going to help us in the pursuit of knowledge. Because Bhagavan himself says that. So that is 13th chapter's 11th shlokam. With this we will complete today and we will continue on in the next session. Alvar Emberumanar Jiyar Tiruvadigalai Sharanam, Jiyar Tiruvadigalai Sharanam.
To learn such valuable information about our Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, please download KOYIL, KOYIL app from Google Play Store or Apple App Store. Our website is koyil.org, KOYIL.org.